Hi, I'm Chris Sasser, also sometimes known as Sass.
Hi, I'm Karen Sasser, and we are thankful for the opportunity to talk with you today about the rub we sometimes feel as parents when our parenting styles differ from our partner.
So, literally, just a few days ago, I had a conversation with a couple that is really struggling with their teenager. They have been in a bad place for a while now. And one thing that's really contributing to the turmoil in their home is the fact that the mom and the dad cannot get on the same page. One of them parents with one style, and the other is the total opposite.
There have definitely been times in our parenting journey when Sass and I have been on different pages in our parenting philosophies, and at times it had definitely has caused us conflict. But with God's help, we navigated it the best we could. As you can imagine, it took some compromising on both of our parts. So we wanted to share an example of what that looked like. During his high school years, our son struggled through the COVID distance learning model. Having been a strong student up until this point, all of a sudden his grades started to drop, his work was not being completed, and he became very disengaged. My thought was he needed more structure, more accountability, and strict consequences. Unfortunately, this strategy was not very successful and it was starting to take a strain on our relationship. Sass, on the other hand, wanted to take a more hands off approach. I felt like this was relinquishing my parental responsibilities and I wasn't comfortable with it. However, as things did not improve through my strategy, I finally agreed with Sass that my relationship with my child was more important than what I thought was quote unquote right. In this particular situation, extending grace as well as freedom to my child was the most important. And in the end, he had to deal with the consequences of his choices. He graduated high school, but was unable to attend the school he had hoped for and the one that we had dreamed that he would one day attend. But at least our relationship was still intact.
Well, once this child of ours got off to college, he still, quite honestly, had some of the same struggles academically. He was doing great socially, emotionally, and spiritually, but he was not performing well in all of his classes, if performing at all in some of them. Well, we started with my philosophy of parenting, and by extending grace, offering support and encouraging him to explore what he was not doing well. And unfortunately, after promises to get it all together, knowing that we would support him in getting extra help if he needed it, he still fell short. And at this point, I agreed with Karn, and we got a little more strict, and we put him on a contract that said if he did not live up to a few things, he would financially be on his own through the next semester of college. Again, we offered to get him extra help in any way he needed, but again, he fell short. And as difficult as it was, we had to follow through with the consequences that we had set out. But as hard as it is for us to watch, like right now, we know that God will use this trial in his life to work in him to develop his character and mold him to be more like the man Jesus has created him to be.
One thing we were reminded of through these parenting struggles is the importance of keeping our goal for parenting at the forefront of our mind. Our vision for our kids is for them to be healthy, emotionally, relationally, physically, and spiritually. Our goal for them is to love and follow Jesus for the rest of their lives. We also want to maintain a strong, nurturing relationship with them. Sometimes this means extending grace. Sometimes it means allowing them to experience natural consequences. Sometimes it means enforcing consequences. The key is to keep the bigger picture in mind, asking the question, is the way I am parenting reflecting Christ's character and biblical principles and leading our child to become more like Jesus?
And to do this with another parent means we need to keep the lines of communication open with each other. We have to set aside time to talk about how we want to handle different situations, what our goals are, and how we think our plans for discipline and parenting will work best for accomplishing those goals. It's not always easy, and it is definitely a journey. Now, what we also know is some of you are doing this parenting thing by yourself. And we would encourage you to make sure that you are in a community somewhere, maybe at your church, where you can have people who are walking alongside you as you figure out your parenting style and how you want to lead your kids.
We hope this is helpful, and we want you to remember that you are not alone on this great adventure of parenting teens.